I'm between this little walking man or lady with pants and the wilderness, and I'm doing another little video. This is about the fall and our ego, and they're related, so I'm going to explain here. I got notes. I'm a notey person. The original fall from the garden was the soul's fall from the inner Christ mind, which is always pure love, and it's the higher mind. And we fell down into ego hell, which is biblically represented by Egypt's bondage of the Israelites and the promised land, journey to the promised land. So we fell from the enlightened grace mind or state into the ego's purgatory enslavement. Our soul's sole role in creation is to be atoned or saved, healed unto and with the Christ mind, the wisdom mind, the higher brain function. When we entered our childhood conscious brain magnetism and started dreaming and thinking for ourselves, the lower mammalian brain function, aka the ego brain center, kicked in. It couldn't reconcile with the magnetic power that we were generating in our infantile child brain. Did not know how to handle the polarities of this power. So being subconscious as we were, coming into consciousness, whether it was 4, 5, 6 years old time frame when this sort of happens, our wounded inner child, because there's in the ego mammalian brain, there's the wounded inner child, the wounded inner critic, and the wounded adult. Our wounded inner child could not mentally reconcile or fathom the higher brain's love. The inner child's ego's perception was, my parents are bad, therefore there must not be a God, and therefore my parents are God and want me to suffer, so I must run or hide from any signs I need love and find self-preservation. That way they'll never get jealous or know I'm here, and I'll never have to step into love to reveal I am a loving being and thereby reveal my loving nature by being exposed before these heinous gods. This is where we embark so deep into illusion and delusion of the ego, which is just another way to say the deeper we fell into that thinking and fear thinking, we were going deeper into darker ego territory. It was getting darker the farther we went. And so the deeper we embarked on that illusory and delusory journey, creating with every ounce of ego's magnetism that we had as that child, we energetically separated our etheric magnetic cord from our higher brain source, from our God mind, our pineal, which is the face of God and the throne of God. God never severed our cord to him. but it was we who severed our cord to him, and we were deceived with such heavy delusion and illusion that we thought we must run from love and find it in our own terms, in our own way, in the land of ego and carnality. And this is pretty big thinking we were doing as children. And it was all subconscious, sometimes with a little more consciousness than we were aware of. But nonetheless, it was happening. We were making sense of our environment, our world, our reality, the best we could as little people. Through forgiveness of every perception that we have to this day, and of every thought we think to this day, we can let go of our three egos' carnal strongholds over us. And when we become no mind, or without thought, that is to say, sort of in the way monks in monasteries meditate for years, purposely trying not to think thoughts, but only be love and be present in as a soul, as a spirit, a being. But if we rather build only our seventh sense, which is the God brain, our wisdom brain, through faith, and seeing once again what is not as though it were, the same way we did as those little children we will daily move closer toward that Christ mind and be atoned from all ego's illusory thinkings and perceived sufferings. And the root of all suffering is carnality and ego-based and driven existence. And it can be willful, but many of us are in this egotistical way of being and state of mind by default, because it's how we were both conditioned and somewhat chose to become. Some it's a little more severe than others, but nonetheless we are all there, and it's the root of all our worldly suffering. And to be atoned, healed, saved from all of that suffering, we must return to the wise mind function, abandon ego software, I guess, if we're thinking like technologically. We have two software. We can either operate on ego software, or we can operate on our higher brain software. And there's a process to do it, and I'll be doing some more videos to explain this a little better. But this is just part of the understanding of the sort of parable, the revelation behind the fall. It's not a literal Eve ate the apple and gave it to Adam, and they both ate of the wrong tree of life within them, and they were kicked out of the kingdom of the higher brain into the mammalian brain, and there was the curse and all suffering and toiling and hardship and persecution that we know to date on earth. And the whole point of the Bible is to overcome that, come back to the wise God, Christ mind. But many won't get there if they are willfully fighting God through this egotistical defense system this inner defense system that fights against anything loving or God or obedience. And this is all stemming from childhood and misconceptions that were either wrongly instilled or chosen